وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، وبالسند المتصل منا إلى الإمام الهمام الحافظ الحجة أبي عبد الله البخاري رحمه الله تعالى قال: باب في الأمل وطوله وقول الله عز وجل: فمن زحزح عن النار وأدخل الجنة فقد فاز وما الحياة الدنيا إلا متاع الغرور. وقوله تعالى: ذرهم يأكلوا ويتمتعوا ويلههم الأمل فسوف يعلمون. وقال علي رضي الله عنه: ارتحلت الدنيا مدبرة وارتحلت الآخرة مقبلة ولكل واحدة منهما بنون، فكونوا من أبناء الآخرة ولا تكونوا من أبناء الدنيا، فإن اليوم عمل ولا حساب وغدا حساب ولا عمل. وبه قال حدثنا صدقة بن الفضل قال أخبرنا يحيى عن سفيان قال حدثني أبي عن منذر عن ربيع بن خثيب عن عبد الله رضي الله عنه قال: خط النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم خطا مربعا وخط خطا في الوسط خارجا منه وخط خطوطا صغارا إلى هذا الذي في الوسط من جانبه الذي في الوسط وقال: هذا الإنسان وهذا أجله محيط به أو قد أحاط به، وهذا الذي هو خارج أمله وهذه الخطط الصغار الأعراض، فإن أخطأه هذا نهشه هذا الذي هو خارج أمله وهذه الخطط الصغار الأعراض، فإن أخطأه هذا نهشه هذا وإن أخطأه هذا نهشه هذا. Today we are doing from the chapter of Al-Amal and Tul, and its severity and the lengthy amal that people have. Amal means hopes. It's different from tamanni, which is wish. Tamanni is dreams and wishes, which is without any means, just pure baseless dreams. The achieving of which is virtually impossible, like becoming young again, like being able to fly, etc., etc. And amal is things which are technically possible, which are based on means and plans. So this chapter is about amal, these kind of hopes that people have. What is the Islamic concept of having these kind of hopes, dreams, aspirations, ambitions, etc. And Imam Al-Bukhari rahimahullah, in this chapter, he brought this verse of the Quran from Surah Al-Imran: فَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ وَأُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةَ فَقَدْ فَازَ وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. Whoever is saved or whoever is made distant from the fire and is made to enter Jannah has indeed become successful. And the worldly life is nothing but the good of deception. It is something of deception, ghurur. And in some qiraat, mata'ul gharur, of the deceiver. Gharur is the one who deceives, and ghurur is the deception that comes from that deceiver, and thus shaitan is called al-gharur. And he brought another verse of the Quran: ذَرْهُمْ يَأْكُلُوا وَيَتَمَتَّعُوا وَيُلْهِهِمُ الْأَمَلُ فَسَوْفَ يَعْلَمُونَ, describing the disbelievers, those who are engrossed in this dunya and not leaving any stones unturned in fulfilling their desires, the carnal, evil desires, temptations, and some are arrogantly, rebelliously in war against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, leave them, let them eat, let them benefit, enjoy this world, and let the amal, these hopes and ambition make them negligent, فَسَوْفَ يَعْلَمُونَ, soon they will know. And Ali radiallahu anhu narrates, he says in a hadith which is narrated marfu'an and mawqufan, here is mawquf, ارتحلت الدنيا مدبرة, that the dunya has left, turning its back towards people. وارتحلت الآخرة مقبلة, and akhirah is moving forward. Dunya is moving backwards away from people, turning its back towards people. And akhirah is moving forward, facing the people. And for every single one of them, for dunya and akhirah, there are children, offsprings. So be from the children of the akhirah, the people of the akhirah. And do not be from the children of this dunya. Because today is all action and there's no reckoning. And tomorrow is only reckoning and there is no action. So Imam Al-Bukhari rahimahullah wrote this verse, فَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ, and the connection, the relevance of this verse to this chapter of Amal is in this verse before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ وَإِنَّمَا تُوَفَّوْنَ أُجُورَكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, that every soul shall taste death and you shall get your full rewards يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, in the day of judgment. And then فَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ. So because everybody will face death, thus it is not wise for people to have such long ambitions, longer than how long they will live in this world. And this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us about the harms of having long ambitions and hopes. And in the second verse, it's very clearly وَيُلْهِهِمُ الْأَمَلُ, that let their hopes and their ambitions, worldly ambitions, make them negligent, forgetful of the purpose of in this world, make them forgetful of their obedience and their commitment towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And thus be the people of the akhirah. Do not be the people of this dunya. And some muhaddithin, they comment that it is very surprising and foolish that people are running after a dunya which is running away from them. How foolish, sad and despicable is this? When somebody doesn't want you and you run after them, we all say this person is a foolish person, low person, has no self-respect, dignity, etc. A reject. So this is what we are all doing towards dunya. Just running after dunya and forgetting akhirah. And many of us are totally confused about the concept of the success of dunya and akhirah. Success of dunya is not where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Give us the good of this world and the good of the akhirah. Does not mean becoming wealthiest, most powerful, and all these other things. Or else it would mean many prophets who were poor, who were being oppressed by people, have not had the best of this world. The best of this world is having a good wife, good pious children, having good health, having a peaceful life, not based on your bank balance, not based on how big your house is, how nice your car is, etc., etc. So having good life is having happiness, peace, tranquility, etc. And these are extra blessings, bonuses, and it's not wise to affect your asset, your capital, to gain some profit. No one would ever lose their asset just to gain a little bit of extra profit. Or destroy their house, etc., for a little bit of decoration, painting and furniture, etc. So we trying to get a little bit of blessings of this world, we compromise and we damage our akhirah. And this is very foolishness. And those who do that, who are striving more on a regular basis, most of the effort early in the morning, soon as they wake up, before they go to sleep, they put the alarm on for work and not for fajr. That itself shows that they are working towards for the dunya and not for the akhirah. They are the children of the dunya and not the people of the akhirah. So this is the balance. Ask the good of this world, whatever blessing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives is a bonus. But the most important is the blessings and the success of the akhirah. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in another verse, مَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ حَرْثَ الْآخِرَةِ نَزِدْ لَهُ فِي حَرْثِهِ وَمَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ حَرْثَ الدُّنْيَا نُؤْتِهِ مِنْهَا وَمَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ نَصِيبٍ. مَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ حَرْثَ الْآخِرَةِ نَزِدْ لَهُ فِيهَا. Whoever wants the crops of the akhirah, we will increase for him. We will give them in manyfold. We will give them in this world as well. وَإِذْ تَأَذَّنَ رَبُّكُمْ لَإِنْ شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَلَإِنْ كَفَرْتُمْ إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. That if you are grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then I will surely increase for you in whatever you are grateful about. If you are grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for your life, Allah will increase you in your life. For your health, Allah will give you better health, long-lasting health. Whatever you are grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will increase you. So those who are striving for akhirah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them more in manifold. Thus, when someone does one good deed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala multiplies it from 10 to 100 to 700. And وَاللَّهُ يُضَاعِفُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala multiplies for those who He wants without any hisab. وَاللَّهُ يَرْزُقُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Allah sustains and blesses and gives those who He wishes without any reckoning. This is just a standard principle. Rules, regulations, you do this, you get that, etc. But when you please someone, then they can give you as much as they want from their own treasures. So those who are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, beloved, Allah gives them without any hisab. So this verse, مَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ حَرْثَ الْآخِرَةِ نَزِدْ لَهُ فِي حَرْثِهِ. Whoever wants the crops of akhirah, we will increase it for them. وَمَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ حَرْثَ الدُّنْيَا نُؤْتِهِ مِنْهَا. And whoever wants the crops of this world, we will give him a little bit of it, a portion of it. You're not going to get exactly everything you want. All the things that you want, you will only get a portion of it. You want to become a millionaire? You're striving night and day, you'll be lucky to even have one house, the owner of one house, etc., etc. You're not going to get everything, only a portion of it. But because of you neglecting akhirah, neglecting deen, you're not going to get anything of the akhirah. And this is what, unfortunately, many of us have become deceived and misunderstood. And everybody has this argument, yes, you have to work, you have to earn, you have to live in this world. Yes, live in this world to get by. Everybody's getting by. Allah's giving you enough to get by. Then why are you so stressed out? Why are you so scared to donate a little bit of money to help someone, to sacrifice a few of your hours, let alone for helping the poor, for helping the community, for extra nawafil and good deeds and spreading deen? You don't even have time to fulfill your obligations. Your compulsory minimum obligation to preserve your iman, which is praying salah. That is not fulfilling your obligation of earning and, earning a bit of this world. This is being engrossed, and this is giving preference to dunya over akhirah. But the Sahaba they would make more effort. Night and day their concern was for akhirah. They would lose their sleep for matters of deen, for things that would affect their deen, things that would affect their iman or Islam. That is their deen. Helping the community, being where you need to be, giving help where there is need for help. This is your deen. If you're not doing this, you are neglecting your obligation towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this was the concern of the Sahaba. Salah, there's no compromise. There's no shortcoming in that. That the likes of Uthman radiallahu anhu, Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu, who were millionaires of their time, they would do the whole khatam of the Quran in one night. They will donate their entire earning, etc. And it would never ever affect their salah. If something like Sulaiman alayhi salam, whilst he was watching these beautiful white horses, he was so carried away watching them. And according to some narrations, because his salah was being delayed, he wanted to get rid of all of it. And there are similar examples amongst the Sahabas as well. So the obligation, they would not let anything affect that. And even their further obligations of helping the poor, helping Islam, they wouldn't let their worldly pursuits, their business, their earning, their livelihood, etc. affect this. This was their priority. They would earn for the sake of deen. So they can provide for their children, give them the best education, make them best Muslims, give them a good life, and how that they can also spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what the purpose for earning was. And ours today, we go, just building your bank assets and bank balances and houses after houses, and yet we're not spending any money in the path of Allah. Everything, all our earning is either invested back for more investment, so that our income is multiplied in many folds, but very rarely our donations ever increase. Our spending in the path of Allah ever increases. So this is a very concept. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding, the correct understanding of what is striving for akhirah, and to become the people of akhirah, not to become the people of dunya. And in another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لا يزال قلب الكبير شابا في اثنين في حب الدنيا وطول الأمل. That the heart of a elderly person constantly remains younger and gets younger in two things. As they get older, their eyesight weakens, their energy weakens, their strength and everything weakens. But two things increase: their love for dunya and their hopes and dreams. They don't realize that I've already been given the red light. White hair starting coming out. I'm amongst the elder generation now. We've seen millions of people in our life. As soon as they reach age of 60, 70, very few people survive longer than that. Very few people. If you're lucky, we've seen millions of people dying young age, in the youth, in childhood. And everybody dies as soon as they reach 60, 70. Very few go over that. And yet, we are still just worried about how to build our bank balance, how to become bigger and wealthier, and just how we can boast and show off, my son is this, my daughter is this is how much houses I have, and this is a problem. that we all need to hold ourselves accountable for. Or else, if we don't hold ourselves accountable for today, then it will be too late. And then Akhirah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold us accountable. In the next hadith, Imam Al-Bukhari rahimahullah narrates a hadith from Abdullah radiallahu anhu that one day the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he was sitting with the Sahaba and he drew a square box on the ground. And then from the center, in the middle, he drew one long line going across out of the box. So one box like this in the middle and then straight line going outwards. And then he drew a number of small lines this way, facing the long line which is going out of the box. And he said, this is the insan, the point where the line begins. And everything around it, the box, is his lifespan. This is how much life, how much time he has in this world. And the line that is going out of the boxes from the middle, this is his hopes and his ambition and his dreams. And all these small lines that are facing him, these are the problems and calamities, difficulties that a person faces in their health. They become disabled, they get some lifelong injury which makes them disabled for the rest of their life. They become blind, etc. They lose all their wealth and all sorts of problems and calamities that one faces in their health, in their body, in their wealth, in their family, etc. And or accidents which may cause death or like the living dead, where you can't do anything, you're absolutely bedbound, or in intensive care, etc., where you're just breathing and nothing. These kind of injuries that people face and suffer, and many of us, many times, we are close to such injuries, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saves us. So He says, if either many times we see these calamities come, we're about to have an accident, fall down, somehow we are saved, and we see these clips and stuff like that, it happens all the time. So this is what I say, where if this one misses you, then this one will catch you. If neither of them catch you, then you're not dying in an accident, then remember, that's your 60 years, 70 years. أعمار أمتي بين الستين والسبعين سنة. Prophet ﷺ said, the age and the lifespan of my ummah is between 60 to 70. That's the average lifespan. Anybody who's lived more than 70, this is just extra time. This is bonus. Count yourself lucky. So if none of these calamities get you, then surely the 60, 70 years of lifespan will eventually hold you. But you can see what Prophet ﷺ was showing is that a person's life is only 60 years, 70 years, but his ambitions, his dreams and his desires is for hundreds of years. And for this, something which he will never ever see or experience or benefit from, he is compromising his dunya and akhirah and everything. باب من بلغ 60 سنة فقد أعذر الله إليه في العمر لقوله تعالى أولم نعمركم ما يتذكر فيه من تذكر وجاءكم النذير. وبه قال حدثني عبد السلام بن مطهر قال حدثنا عمر بن علي عن معن بن محمد الغفاري عن سعيد بن أبي سعيد المقبوري عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنهم عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال أعذر الله إلى امرئ أخر أجله حتى بلغه 60 سنة. In the next hadith, Imam Al-Bukhari rahimahullah brings the chapter of that person whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a lifespan of 60 years. And after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes away all his excuses. فَقَدْ أَعْذَرَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِ فِي الْعُمُرِ. That he does not giving him any more chances and excuses. And then he brings this verse of the Quran from Surah Al-Fatir to prove his point of this chapter. أَوَلَمْ نُعَمِّرْكُمْ مَا يَتَذَكَّرُ فِيهِ مَنْ تَذَكَّرَ وَجَاءَكُمُ النَّذِيرُ. That did we not give you a life in which those who wanted to reflect and take heed could have reflected? وَجَاءَكُمُ النَّذِيرُ, and the warner has come to you. So what this warner is, again in this verse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us that you had a long enough life to reflect upon what the purpose of life is, that your life is deteriorating. You've seen enough of this world. It's not worth it. No one's going to live forever. Nobody gets everything they want. This life is a test. This life is a place of hardship. It's about living a good life for a good cause. That is the success. You've had long enough time to establish and to prove that life is unpredictable. Nobody ever achieves everything they want. And nobody has any security in this life. We've seen it from families and friends and all over the world. Life is unpredictable. So what is the purpose of life? What is success then? If a person is born in a wealthy family and then suddenly has education and does the best in university degree and then all of a sudden just dies without any illness. Millions of people. So what was the purpose of their life? Are they losers? Or on the other hand, people, all this question. So the conclusion a person could make is that no, success is not about getting everything you want and etc. It's about living your life for good causes, for noble causes, doing the best thing, always doing the best thing, in the best way. If you can do this throughout your life until you die, through accidents, illnesses, diseases or old age, then you are successful. And this is ihsan, doing everything in the best possible way. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you long enough life to reflect upon these things. And also the warner has come to you. And what the warner is, the Mufassirin say either it means old age, like 60, 70, you've reached the age of 60, 70, click on, that's it, wake up. Or you've seen white beard. White hair is exception sometimes. I mean, when they get that from depression and also some other reasons. You have some even teens who have young white hair. I even got plenty of white hair. And white beard is coming out as well. Moustache is already coming. So these are, warnings and reminders that, you're reaching old age. And some say it refers to 40 years. Because 40 years, again, is the time where you start getting your white hair. 60, 70, everything becomes white. But from the age of 30, 40, that's when normally you start having white hair. And obviously people like us, when we get white hair in the 30s, it's, for various other reasons. And that's when a person becomes very mature, already children are growing up, they become sensible, etc. And this is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ إِحْسَانًا حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ كُرْهًا وَوَضَعَتْهُ كُرْهًا وَحَمْلُهُ وَفِصَالُهُ 30 شهرا حتى إذا بلغ أشده وبلغ 40 سنة قال رب أوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي وعلى والدي وأن أعمل صالحا ترضاه وأصلح لي في ذريتي حتى إذا بلغ أشده, until he reaches his strength. Ashuddahu, the peak of his youth and his strength and his life and everything, success in everything. وَبَلَغَ 40 سَنَةً, and he's reached the age of 40. At the age of 40, that's when a person at his peak, his goal, his children who are in their 20s, in their teens, or bodyguards who are 10, 15 children, they're all studying or graduating and already having grandchildren. So that's their best and successful part of their life, and that's where they see their fruits, the business, everything flourishing. And when a person reaches the age of 40, قال رب أوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي, he says, oh Allah, give me the tawfiq to نعمتك التي أنعمت علي, to thank you for the blessing that you've blessed upon me and upon my parent. وعلى والدي وأن أعمل صالحا ترضاه واصلح لي في ذريتي إني تبت إليك وإني من المسلمين. And give me the tawfiq to do good deeds. Then he realizes that's it. He's enough. He's mature enough. He's tried to gain everything, and he's seen that how much money and how much hardship he had to go through gain whatever he's gained, and realizing he said, Allah, now I have to work for akhirah. And أعمل صالحا ترضاه, and that I do good deeds that please me, وأصلح لي ذريتي. And then he starts making concern how to make life easier for his offsprings, not to just become successful worldly-wise in wealth, how that they can become better Muslims. And thus his concern is to make his surroundings, his community, establish deen, so that his children can be saved from evils and corruption, etc. أصلح لي ذريتي إني تبت إليك وإني من المسلمين. Oh Allah, I have repented towards you, and I am from the obedient. أولئك الذين نتقبل عنهم أحسن ما عملوا ونتجاوز عن سيئاتهم في أصحاب الجنة وعد الصدق الذي كانوا يوعدون. أولئك الذين نتقبل عنهم أحسن ما عملوا. These are the people whose good deeds and the best deeds in their lives, in these 40 years of their life, all the good deeds that they have done, the wealth that they have spent in the path of Allah, the time they've spent in seeking knowledge, the time they spent in the youth in striving and serving deen, we accept this. وَنَتَجَاوَزُ عَنْ سَيِّئَاتِهِمْ. And all the bad deeds that they have done, we will just give it aside, brush it aside. We will forgive them for their bad sins, and we will replace it with rewards, because they are humble. Yes, nobody is perfect. Everybody commits sins. Everybody makes mistakes. But those who repent, they are the successful, and they are the ones who have the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those who sincerely repent, and in their secret, when nobody is looking, they're crying and they feel guilty, they feel humble, they regret. These are the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives, and the good deeds that they have done, Allah accepts them. And sometimes because of such good deeds, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives all their sins. So the Muhaddithin will say, here, Adja al-Nadir is referring to either 40 years age, or 60, or your white hair. Whichever one is all correct. It's a reminder for everyone. So in the hadith, the Prophet said that when a person wishes, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a person life unto 60 years, then he has no excuses left. He has no excuses left for not being able to worship, not understanding, etc. He's had plenty of chances. So after that, the person doesn't have an excuse. But not to, in the following chapter, Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, he brings another chapter just to support this chapter, that even though that person has reached the age of 60 and he has not changed and stuff like that, still he can have hope in Allah for any good deed that he may have done, or if he just repents very sincerely, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive everything. But other than that, the fact that he has enough chances and he still hasn't done enough good deeds for the akhirah, he doesn't have any evidences left, any arguments left for not being able to practice or stuff like that. And when a person is young, they have temptation, they have all sorts of things, and naturally the desires are stronger, the energy, they have some kind of excuse. But you're 60 and you're still gambling, you're still drinking, and you're still committing haram and everything. What excuse do you have? It's just pure corruption, greed, etc. But if that person still repents, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them success, and because of that sincerity, Allah forgive all the bad sins. Thus, we should not again undermine anybody, look down on anybody. Yes, if someone doing some bad things, we advise them, we dislike the evil, etc. And especially if someone has committed some sins secretly, the fact that he's committed secretly shows he's guilty, he knows it's bad, he will have chance to repent. If you found out about it, then tell him secretly. Yes, if a person is justifying some evil acts, some sins, making something haram into halal, then yes, you correct him. You punish him. Whatever necessary actions you need to take, you take it. If he is misguiding people, then you need to make people aware of him, highlight him, expose him. That's different. A person is committing sin secretly. That shows he understands. He's regretting. He's not justifying it. If you know it, give him a little reminder. Help him. Talk to him. Etc. And hide his sin. Man satara musliman satarahu Allahu yawm al-qiyamah. That whoever hides the sin of a believer, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hide his sins in the day of judgment. And whoever tries to humiliate purely for humiliating someone, and many people will have this disease. We look for faults, and soon as we find a fault, we forget about our own faults. Like we are perfect. It's a sign of arrogance and corruption. And we start exposing, gossiping. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from all these evil. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to act upon what has been said. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.
I have a question.
Yep.
So you said there's many reminders people have: white hair, old age. What about those who've become baligh, but they pass away maybe a few years after? Like they become baligh at 15, at 20 years of age. What are the reminder for them?
What are the reminders?
So you said like Allah's giving you all the chances, and then there's no more chances. At 60 they pass away, and in their life they've had reminders. What about the young people who haven't reached that age of 60 and they pass away? Is there anything mentioned about them?
Well, if those who reached before that, obviously they're still mature. The fact that they're mature, they're conscious, they are accountable for their actions. Like in this world, if they were to do any harm, they will have to face the consequences for that. So in the same way, technically, they will face the consequences of all the action they have done. But definitely, obviously, you can say that they have some excuses. That hopefully Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive them compared to the elderly person. So it's in terms of comparison. But it does not mean that just because they haven't had these warnings of age and what's age, that they're exempt or they've got excuses. They've had other warnings. Someone came and told them. We see when you do this bad thing, this is the consequence that you have. We've read the Quran. So they've had enough warnings as well from friends, from teachers, from parents. So therefore they're not exempt. But it's just in comparison to the older person, they might have a little bit more chance. But at the end of the day, again, like with the elderly person, who's even after having all the warnings and all the chances, they have no excuses left. Yet Imam Bukhari brought that chapter to show that not to still lose hope. Yes, technically you don't have any argument left. But if you repent sincerely, and if Allah still wants for some good deeds that you may have done so sincerely, Allah could forgive you because He is the ultimate king and the judge, and so there's no clear-cut ruling about that. I hope that answers. Jazakallah for that question. Yes?
Mine's not a question, mine's more like asking your advice. So obviously you mentioned how we should try and be the children of Akhir. So obviously the society and the environment that we're in, everyone's kind of forced to be in a certain environment, from children to young adults, where most of our time is fixed on trying to achieve things for the dunya. So a child is studying and so on, it goes to uni and whatnot, then starts working 9 to 5. So most of his time, a person's time, whether he's a child, he's a young adult or a mature adult with a family, most of his time is fixated for things of the dunya. What advice would you give for people in general, how we can still, balance and basically become children of Akhirah in this environment. So you know how the Sahaba, they were able to limit their time for the dunya, whereas we're kind of stuck and forced in everyone has to go to school, everyone has to go uni, everyone has to go to college, where most of our day is fixed in this dunya environment. What kind of advice would you give young people or people who are in
so we still have a choice as well. We still choose to live our life striving for dunya rather than akhirah. So either parents, if they want, they can send their children to Islamic school, where whatever education they're learning, they will have the right intention, they will learn it in the right way, with Islamic ethos, and thus they are focused towards akhirah. So all their life, they're not, they are being made the children of the akhirah. They're, from a young age, it's inculcated in them. Like in the previous hadith, we read how the Prophet ﷺ, young Sahaba, from a young age, he will inculcate these basic foundations of aqidah and belief. So we have this choice of sending our children to Islamic schools, so if they go to primary school, secondary school, then by that time they're 17, 18, they're already fully matured young adults, right? So they should have enough knowledge for deen, what is good, what is bad, what is the purpose of life, right? So then after that, if they go to university, it will be just like the Sahaba who were in the market. رِجَالٌ لَا تُلْهِهِمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا بَيْعٌ from the other رِجَالٌ لَا تُلْهِهِمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا بَيْعٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. They are the people, men, who business and transaction does not divert them from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they will be fully conscious. They will, like the Sahabas who do business, but their business will be for akhirah. They will be in the market to do amr al-ma'roof wa nahy anil munkar. Control themselves, and thus he says about a person who could be in front of the Kaaba, holding the Kaaba, yet his heart would be far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are other people who are in the marketplaces buying and selling, and their heart is connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if we have this upbringing from childhood, then you can become the children of akhirah. Your focus, etc. And likewise, not everybody can afford to send them to Islamic school. At primary age, everybody is ma'soom anyway, right? Everybody is a Muslim, they're fitrah, they don't have this corruption, they don't have sin, they don't have a strong heart, right? So even if they are going to primary school, if you give them the relevant education, they know what is good, they know what Allah is, what Rasul is, what Islam is, what Jannah, Jahannam is, what is expected from a good Muslim by the time they reach, 14, 15, 16. So even if they go to state schools, but in the evening, in the weekends, you give them good education, send them to good maktab, good madrasa, and most importantly, parents be an example. Then, obviously at school, they're just doing education. It's not gonna have as much impact, influence as their families, their parents, their relatives, and outside school in the weekend, in the day-to-day life has. It's just unfortunately because, we don't give them good Islamic education, we don't be a good role model for them, we don't inculcate these things, and thus everybody is just dunya, dunya, dunya. So it's again a choice. In this same world, within this same world, you can see in England, there are people, who are far more akhirah conscious than people in Makkah. So again, it's all just a choice and preferences. So those of us whose parents have, made an effort upon us, we should be very, very grateful to our parents and be indebted to them for the rest of their lives. And those who haven't, you can't blame your parents now. You understand now. You are accountable. You can make this sacrifice and become conscious of akhirah. Inshallah.
Just means to balance your everything.
Yes, exactly. جزاك الله خيرا ان شاء الله.